All right, let's do a part 2. This is still Algebra 2, and I'm doing this from 5B-1. And here's number 10. I just love the way this one looks. It just makes me happy. Okay, it's screaming, factor me all over the place. Remember, if you have an x squared, you better know you've got to factor this. So let's factor this part right here. Think about it, what it means to factor. You're looking for two things that multiply together to give you this term right here. Well, I know x times x is x squared. And think of factors of 12 that add up to 7, okay, which is 4 and 3. So I've got this right here. Okay, then you're going to have to factor this one as well. So again, x times x is going to give me x squared. Now you're looking for factors of negative 12 that add up to 1. Okay, now we've done this before, and if you guys need to think, I'm doing this. Find factors of negative 12 that add up to 1. And that would be what, 4 and negative 3. Does everybody see how that multiplies to give you negative 12? But they add up to give you a positive 1. So it's a positive 4 and a negative 3. Okay, that's all over. See that big long line right there? That's all over. Here we get to go factor it again. Find factors of 2 that add up to 3. Well, hopefully that one's not too bad for you, but 1 times 2 is 2, but 1 plus 2 is 3, so we've got that one. This is the difference of squares, so that's going to be x plus 3 times x minus 3. Okay, I just like the way it looks. Okay, before I do anything, maybe you can already see these cancel, and that's kind of cool. I'm trying to see if we see anything else that cancels just easily, and I don't. So what I have left is I've got this fraction right here divided by this ugly fraction right here. Ugh. X plus 1, I'm going to go ahead and write this out as 2 steps all over x plus 1, x minus 3. Okay, but you guys remember, how do you divide fractions? You have to multiply by the reciprocal. You're going to have to flip it. So, and by the way, I hope you realize these don't cancel, because remember, they're a team. When there's a plus or a minus sign, they're not exactly the same, so you can't cancel these two. Okay, let's flip this. Does everybody see what I'm flipping? I'm flipping this fraction right here. Okay, things always simplify on the diagonal, and they simplify up and down. So look at this x minus 3 and this x minus 3. They're exactly the same, so they're going to cancel out. That's all I see canceling. So you really could write this like this. Notice I could write it like this since there's 2 of them, or you can write it twice. And then I have an x plus 1 times x plus 2. And again, I am really good with this answer right here. You do not have to take time to multiply it all out, even though that's the way they show it in the answer key on the Math You See. Okay, let's do another one, because this is so fun. You guys are having fun, right? All right, let's do number 12, because it looks like another one where we get to factor. So I'm going to write this out real quick. Maybe we can skip a step in this one. Don't skip too many steps where you're going to miss the whole problem, but okay. Anytime you see something squared, just know, I bet you I'm going to have to factor. So let's get with it. Can you find factors of negative 6 that add up to 1? How about a positive 3 times a negative 2? So we see that multiplies together to give you negative 6. And that they add up to negative 1. Okay, same thing here. X times x is going to give me this x squared. Find factors of 30, positive 30, that add up to a negative 11. Well, that's going to be a negative 6 times a negative 5. All over. Good grief, here we go again. If you guys aren't good at factoring yet, you soon will be. Find factors of 10 that add up to negative 7. That would be a negative 5 and a negative 2. You may have to spend a little bit more time trying to figure out the magic pieces, but that's okay. One more. Factors of 24 that add up to negative 10. And that should be what? Negative 6 times a negative 4. All right, so let's rewrite this. Remember this really big one? That's saying you're dividing. You're taking this ugly fraction and you're dividing by this ugly fraction. That's why these are called complex, because they're really ugly, but I really like them. Usually a lot of stuff cancels. Now remember, I'm going to divide by the reciprocal, and I'm going to do 2 steps in one. So let's go ahead and flip this. I may have said that crazy. Notice I just flipped that second fraction right here. Okay, does anything cancel? Let me get a different color. Does everybody see these x minus 6? They're exactly the same. The x minus 2s are exactly the same. That's all I see that is exactly the same. That will cancel. So what am I left with? On the top, I have an x plus 3 and an x minus 4. And on the bottom, do you see how they're exactly the same? I could write it twice, but I'm actually just going to be real lazy and write it like that. And there you go. So hopefully that'll get you started. I'm looking, I might do number 8 real quick. If my phone stops, it's because my battery died. But 8 is almost so simple, they try to make this one hard. You know what? This doesn't have any x's variables in it, so you could technically use your calculator right here. You could take 2 plus a half, or hopefully you realize that's 2 1/2. Okay, 2 plus 1/2, which that's what, 4 plus 1, that's 5 halves. So as everybody see, I've got 5 halves. 6 minus 2/3. Hopefully everybody realizes that's 5 1/3. But if you don't, you can still just crunch that in your calculator. And if you don't know how to use your calculator, you need to ask me. But do you see that's 15 plus 1, so that's 16/3? Again, you could use your calculator, but if you were on a test or a quiz, you would need to show your work. So the way you would do that, remember this means divide. And the way you divide fractions is you multiply by the reciprocal. I don't see anything that's canceling, unfortunately. Nothing on the diagonal, nothing up and down. So I just have 15 over 32, and that's it. So don't make these that don't have a variable, keep them simple. Okay, that's it. Have fun.